government, by Department of the State Government, asking us not to continue with the party secretariat in that area, that it is a residential area. You know, as law-abiding citizens, we don't have powers of our own to challenge the government. But what we did was to, approach the court, to come and, explain, they explain the grounds for which the state government wanted to evict, people from their own establishment or whatever they want to do, or whatever they are doing there. Though the state government has a claim, have said that that area was for residential and not for commercial. But we also know that there are some specific areas in the Constitution, that permits one to use a place that is supposed to be for residential and for use it for commercial as well. That is why we approach the court, and then the court now has to hear the matter. But we got this information, that was shocking, from somebody that is reliable, that they have planned that as early as 6:37 a.m. yesterday, that our party secretariat will be sealed off by the urban committee. Now, when we got this information, it shocked us, because first, we know that Governor of Rivers State is a lawyer, and he has respect for the rule of law. And then at this point, we have already, gone to approach the court to give us, the direction. If what the government are doing is right, and then we look at what we have to offer, why we think that they are not right. And at the end, it is after that judgment that any other thing can take place. But while that matter is pending in the court, they have come with a sinister move to see how they go about to frustrate us in trying to seal. These days the state government is known for sealing up houses, event places, even more. So even the party
again, that is a blanket statement. You are making a blanket statement when you say the state government is known for sealing up.
It's not a black. Let me tell you something, Shegu. Even recently, let me tell you about. I addressed that issue of the SPA. You can imagine that the SPA came up with what they call a Black Friday sale. And in this festive period, the Black Friday sales will go, as far as encouraging these people who have not been able to, buy or purchase some facility, some equipment or, wares or whatever it is that they were told. But because of the price of at that time, they did not buy them. Now, the Black Friday means that you can buy it because they are bringing it down to 50% or even more for you to be able to take that same, material that someone has bought for maybe 20,000. Now you will come, the other time there is 10,000, you can come and get it for 10,000. Now, the government went about stopping it they used one game to say because the other time spa sales, people died, and there was no proper...
but again, if I may come in here, Ambassador Subuma Jakrish, government also explained that it has served the management of that particular facility the necessary letter to explain to government the proper arrangement put in place, particularly concerning the environment and what it has done so far to ensure that its activities does not hamper the public. Again, you need to put that in perspective. And don't forget, government also has a responsibility of protecting lives and property. Don't you think so?
Oh, yes, that is. I agree on that. The government actually has gone ahead of maybe going to inspect the facility and having meetings with the management. But that is not enough that is not enough reason for you to have gone to shut down the entire mall, not the particular spa that is, that is to give that, helping hand to the people of Rivers State. For example, we saw it as if it is, politically undertone, because coincidentally, the star was having that Black Friday. The commencement of that Black Friday was to be from 18th of November, thereabout, through to 28th, or is it 27th or 28th of November. So it has escaped me a little bit. Okay, maybe around 27th of November. And then when this, order to seal up the place came, and when the place was sealed up, many businesses crumbled. Many people were not happy because the Star now became the entire mall. That Star has several establishments. Okay. And then it is not just for Star. Why don't you go and seal up the Spa if possible? But because they have their own plan, so also there is what they call this new city. Is it?
Ambassador Subema Bajakrish, I wouldn't want us to make.
And then the Upper City too is commencing their own Black Friday same time.
Okay. If I may come in here, Ambassador Subema Bajakrish, I wouldn't want us to make claims and we cannot substantiate. And again, some of these facilities you're mentioning are business.
But I just gave you an illustration.
Yes. Again, I still want to talk on that line. I want to talk.
City is doing their own on this, and then who are the people involved in the Upper City? Because these are the questions to be asked. Many Rivers people have been wondering, Upper City, what is behind the Upper City? Who are the brains behind the Upper City?
What I can say is this.
What we have been perceiving was what played out. The names that have been dropping around Upper City played out when that Star wanted to carry out Black Friday, and then the Upper City wants to carry out sale. And then they have to stop Upper City.
Ambassador Subema Bajakrish, if I may say this, again, what we know is that those are business ventures and we wouldn't want to link politics to that. But again, you have said something very, very critical. I recall that while you were addressing the press over your feelings concerning the issue of the facility you talked about, you accused the Rivers State government of failure to create an enabling environment for business to thrive. Now, you are contesting to be the governor of Rivers State in the March governorship election. What would you do differently to ensure that business thrive? What is your agenda for business people and the business community in Rivers State?
First, the business community is very broad, is very big. Now, for business to thrive in a society, in a state like Rivers State, we need security. Because first you have to give an enabling environment for the business to thrive. And so you put things in place like, reducing the tax rate, of the,
Yes, go ahead. We're listening to you, Ambassador Subema Bajakrish.
Yeah, so, for business to thrive in a particular state, what we need to do is to first and foremost give security to the people. When there is security of life and property in the state, then business has 50 to 70% to thrive. Secondly, another enabling area is giving them a platform to explore, to introduce their businesses. They will not be victimized by your so much outrageous taxations and all that. These are some of the things that we as a people will look into, reducing the rate of taxation for business persons. If I'm looking at what is happening in the society, in the country today, you will know that we have challenges. And then these people that are doing their businesses, you're giving them also, setting too many tax forces, to go and humiliate them, go and intimidate them, to extort money from them. The business cannot thrive. These people are now seeing it as though they are under, some kind of leadership that is intimidating. And most of them are, looking for another alternative means, going out of the state to go do their businesses, especially the new market, for example. How will business thrive? How will the people be happy when over 1, 2, 3 years, a particular market owned by some people own their shares there? That is what they make, living with. And then you shut it down just because of one reason or the other. And the people have not been going to their businesses. What will they do? They will look for an alternative means. Some of them have gone to Aba. Some of them have gone back to Lagos to do, their businesses. So these are some of the areas we are looking at. We have to come in with a government that will have content. So, to partner with the businessmen and women in this in the state to see how together the state can be grown business-wise. Because that's why I said you have to give them the enabling environment. You have to give them the listing, providing grants for for the business men, for them to access, grants to invest. Because most of these things need capital.
Fantastic.
And when the state cannot give them those platforms, they will not be comfortable to do their businesses. Right.
Now, I just wanted to stay with us, Ambassador Subamabo Jackery. Just stay with us. If you just tune in, you're listening to Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt, and I'm speaking on telephone with Ambassador Subamabo Jackery. He is the governorship candidate of the National Rescue Movement. Unfortunately, due to some unforeseen incidences, Ambassador Subamabo Jackery could not be live in the studio, but he is live with us on telephone and was speaking concerning the 2023 governorship election, which is about 91 days from today's, and we're looking at some of the issues that are stifling campaigns of political parties and politicians in River State. And Ambassador Subamabo Jackery has just raised an issue accusing the present government in River State of stifling businesses in the state, and he has said government has not made it possible for business to thrive to its limits in River State. Do you agree with Ambassador Subamabo Jackery? Would you say he is correct to say government has not done so much to encourage business? And he cited example of the seal-up of a particular property belonging to a business venture. And he said also government has embarked on obnoxious taxation and also insecurity. Now, we want you to join the conversation. The number to call is 070-5079-1021. I repeat that again, 70-5079-1021 and 081-1743-1021. And those are the two lines. Ambassador Subamabo Jackery, I'm going to ask you to stay on the line. We'll just take 2 or 3 calls, and we'll be joining you to speak further. And thank you so much for joining us. This is Super FM.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. This is Fred Michael calling from Korok.
Fred Michael, we thank you for joining us. So what's your question for Ambassador Subamabo Jackery, particularly his policy of encouraging business venture in River State?
Yes, I don't have any question for him. I'm support of him because the way the business is going in River State, the way the present government is doing, is not encouraging. It's not encouraging. That's my contribution.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that contribution, and we'll take another one. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. You're welcome to Point Blank on Super FM.
Pastor Shego, good morning. This is Prince calling from Port Harcourt.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Shego, number one question. The first question I asked your guest, you have not answered the question. You should answer if this thing that is campaign office or short that if you show that you can do the you stop jumping from pillar to post.
All right, I believe Ambassador Subamabo Jackery is listening to you, and he can hear you clearly. Ambassador Subamabo Jackery can hear you clearly.
Chego, you will give me the question because I'm hearing you alone. I cannot hear them clearly.
All right,
so you will now repeat this.
Okay, so again, just stay now. The first question is, now that you've alleged that your campaign office was, could you confirm that it was not sealed up? That's the question.
Yes, my campaign office was not sealed off. We got the information and we got it right. And then, so because we came on air and we called the commissioner of police, we called security agents informing them that this case is already in court. And this is the move the government wanted to do, to cause chaos. And because definitely some of us will resist them, because there's no way things will happen that way when we know that we are in the, in a right place, and then you are coming to intimidate us. We won't agree with that. So I think along the line, the government knew that they were making mistakes, or maybe the governor was not aware at that time, and then maybe he called them to order not to do that. But that same yesterday, we learned that they went elsewhere to SDP's secretariat. That means the information we got was correct. That is, but the place is not sealed up.
All right, let us just take another call here, Ambassador Subamabo Jakrish, and I just wanted to, hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Point Blank coming to you from Super 93.3 FM.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please.
My name is Obunikim. I'm calling from Uboshi, Nachi.
Go ahead with your question.
Shegun, I will agree with the governorship candidate there. Because why I'm saying this, in Haji, there is a place where one guy is doing POS. Yes, and the people, some boys from Rinsa, River State Advertisement Agency, they went there and drag POS with this guy. And people are now asking, say, what concerns Rinsa with the POS operators? Yes, sir. Now, what I'm trying to say is that the environment of doing business in River State, the taxes is too much. Are you hearing me?
All right. Well, very well. I think I heard you very clearly. And let's come back to Ambassador Subamabo Jakrish. Ambassador Subamabo Jakrish, if you would listen, did you hear the last caller? Is somehow in support of what you said on the issue of taxation. But again, you have also said concerning the issue of your premises that yes, you were given a notice that where you have your campaign office is a residential area and should not be for political reason. Though the case is in court, and I would as much not want us to discuss it because we don't want to be subjudice because the case is in court. But do you want to say something on that?
Well, first, let me thank that young man who came out boldly to confess what is happening in the state. If you look at the task force in River State, every one of them, their vans, you will see empty bottles, crates of drinks, empty in the van. Now the question is, what are these bottles used for? It means that the government of River State, directly informed them or directed them to always deal with this weapon, so to be able to resist or cause mayhem when they go to wherever they are resistant.
Again, that is an allegation. That's an allegation. You don't have a fact. You cannot substantiate that.
I have pictures of them that I can show you because at a point we begin to want to confirm, and all of them, all the ones we see, young boys in the van, they are our friends, but they are all, with empty beer bottles in the van, and it's happened in this iron market, iron village around there. Around Rumokuro or Rumokuta area. We are someday, that's when we begin to know that, okay, these things are being used for causing problems. How can task forces move around, with bottles, and then the next thing they begin to use that bottles on the people. They have to protect all the people that are taxpayers. Begin to intimidate them and, destroy their businesses. Now, listen, about the stealing of party office, it is not new, but I want to tell you that even the PDP and their party secretariat right very close to us.
But again, have you gone to court? Have you gone to court yourself to challenge the citing of the PDP secretariat? Because you see, again, the Rivers State government said you have erred in law. So if you think someone else is doing what is wrong, you can as well go to court.
No. For us, we believe that we just need to go to court because there is a campaign. We are not scared. We want free and fair environment for everyone to exercise their franchise. But the truth is, we worry some parties that why will you be doing the same thing and coming to fight us? The government will claim that they have sought the permission, but we haven't sought that same permission. Of course, that is what they will say. But let us go down to more, because if we have to talk about this, we will be going far.
Definitely.
Recently, an event center, EUI, was sealed off for no reason.
Well, again, you said for no reason. Ambassador Subamabo Jakrish, you said for no reason. I am also telling you that there is a reason. The government gave us a reason.
Listen to me. What is the reason that the government gave? What is the reason, Shegun, that the government gave?
Well, again, if you follow the statement by government, I'm not a spokesperson of government. Government said they have told the operators of the facility to ensure smooth flow of traffic there. But again, they've continued, disobeyed that. Again, from the statement by the state government and the Commissioner for Information and Communication, Alagbo-elect Chris Feinberg, he said it is wrong for people to appropriate public spaces for their personal use. And I think that is correct. Don't you agree?
Well, I say I disagree with you. Let me tell you now, that event center, there are event centers owned by some notable state officials in Rivers State, right in Port Harcourt. And then these event centers are also be causing traffic around those areas. It has not been shut down. Let me tell you, what happened there was this event started from 5 p.m. And then after 5 p.m., I don't think that, let me give you another illustration. Look at our communities, our roads, Psychiatric Road, Rumokoro Road, and other. These community people come out in the open day, in the broad daylight, shut it down because they want to either do burial or whatever event. And then there is no roads there, and everybody begins to show. Nobody has gone there to fill up that entire community. Why will you? Because one day some group of people had an event, and then you perceive that the people who went attended that event are after your government, and then the next thing you come to say because there was traffic, the traffic still there, the traffic comments. If there is traffic, it comments. Of course, when somebody is as prominent as that and good as that, traffic in their activities, even government house there, because when they want to do stakeholders meeting, they cause traffic in government house. Now we can use the idiom for reception, and the same traffic happened. Why did the government not go to shut down the place? Because they perceive that maybe the place is owned by a particular politician who is not in line with their ideology. Or
Ambassador
because the people that is out, we are more of people that are saying truth to power. That enough is enough of this situation in our state. Enough is enough of this is slavery and victimization. How can a government that is called to serve the people have come in turn to destroy the people? That is what the problem is.
Ambassador Subumabo Jackish, we could continue to argue that, but again, we don't want to stay on that. We just need to move ahead. And for those, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Point Blank, and I am on the line with Ambassador Subumabo Jackish. He is the governorship candidate of the National Rescue Movement, and we're looking at some of the issues that may affect the peaceful conduct of the 2023 governorship election, which is about 91 days from today. And he has raised several issues, and he believes that one of them is stifling the political space for opposition political parties, and said something needs to be done urgently. But again, let us look at your policy. You've been talking about businesses. I also recall, Ambassador Subumabo Jackish, and thank you for staying with us. I also recall that on the 31st of October this year, you were endorsed by the Niger Delta Professional Artisans. And in that ceremony, you promised to create a ministry that will promote and take care of SMEs. Again, my question is, are you trying to say if you become the governor of Rivers State after the 2023 election, we will have multiple ministries? Because already we have Ministry of Commerce, which should take care of SMEs. So why would you want to create another ministry to take care of SMEs?
Can you come again?
So again, I was saying that when you were endorsed by the group known as the Niger Delta Professional Artisans, you told that particular group that when you become governor of Rivers State, if you become governor of Rivers State after the 2023 election, you would create a special ministry to take care of SMEs. And my question is that necessary? Can't we just allow the Ministry of Commerce to do that? Would this amount to you creating ministries for every strata of business?
Oh, no, that is not what I meant. What I said was that because the artisans are more, everybody are involved. You may be a platter, you may be whatever you are, as long as you have a skill, you have something that you do, you fall under that category of artisan. And even the person, going to fishing or even, selling in the market, whatever, no matter how small it is, they are all under that category. Now, looking at how big this community is, the people are getting something from the from the global market in job, for them to do their jobs, especially for example, our River State now, River State that has not provided jobs, even, deliberate for of the state. How will this and their life thrive in such a state? So what I'm saying is that we will create a different ministry that will supersede or that will watch over them, deal with them directly, so that most of these people can access even grants in their field of endeavor. For example, I can tell you that if you give 50,000 to some good persons in their area, they can use 50,000 to develop themselves, and then in the next 5 months you'll be surprised that they are telling that they have extra 50,000. Why the 50,000 is being invested in the same business? And some of these people, especially one reason I took up that is looking at what is happening in River State, that Julius Berger today is now like an ordinary company. Julius Berger is now like an ordinary company in a state where we have very sound lawyer as a governor. How can Julius Berger now become a group of people, a company that will pay between 800 to 1,500 naira to staff or to skill workers in our company, in our establishment? That is absurd. Now, looking at how things are in Nigeria today, you cannot even afford rice for 10,000, 15,000 anymore. Right now, as a teacher, rice is about 45,000 per bag. And you're coming to pay somebody a day 1,500. Somebody who over the years earned that profession. He studied, he earned that profession. He's getting 1,500. That means times 30 days. He gives us 45 pounds. That means a bag of rice before the person has. And then we are looking at where the state government can, by this time, would have intervened. Mediated between the company and the youth of the state. Asking the state that the establishment, the giants, why will you be paying our youth in such in such a manner?
So again, if I may come in, Ambassador Tobama Bajak,
they are reducing the okay.
If I may come in, because you have made a very big allegation against the construction company concerning the amount you said they are paying the youths. I don't have that fact, but perhaps you might want to expatiate. How did you know that that is what they are paying workers? Were you part of it? Do you have evidence?
Okay, we have evidences. I can give evidences. I have too many persons that are working with them. We are youth as well, and then we interact amongst ourselves. Like some time ago, I accosted this, I passed into these youth when they were, protesting. The same staff protesting along the Aba Road. And then, what is the problem? We try to ask what was the problem. And that is where some of them begin to explain that the construction giant is paying them 700 to 1,500. I asked one of them, who are you? He said he's an engineer, but he's doing what they call, is it part-time or what? He's not employed. He's a contractor or whatever it's called. How much are you saying? 1,500. I said, 1,500, even me, that don't have anything with me. Some of the boys that are moving around me will not be happy when I give them even 30,000, 50,000. They are even angry.
So again, are you suggesting, because again, there is a contract, I believe that the boys will have...
There is a conspiracy. Let me tell you, Chegu. There is a conspiracy. For me, my result is, I am seeing conspiracy between the government and the construction giants. For example, let me give you another illustration now. A year ago or something, there was a protest from the Ogoni and led by Ganis Yomabana and some youth leaders of the state. Various youth leaders, they came together and they protested. And what was the protest? The protest was that the construction giants have denied them, their rights. For example, how can a construction giant come to your community to establish, to build, come with a project, for example, of 1 billion or 2 billion? If you go down to the local content, you come to understand, though I'm not certain, because the figure, for some time I've not checked. But there is what they call corporate social responsibility. Now, this corporate social responsibility comes when a company has a project somewhere, they will come to the local government or they will come to the community where the project will be situated. They will come there, they will interact with it. They will come, they call it homage. They will come pay homage to the king, the youth, and the council of chiefs. They will not tell them what they want to do. And then the people in turn, they will not ask the community, look, sir, what do you want to do after this job in this place? Why are they asking those questions? It means that there's what they call corporate social responsibility. It's about 1 or 2% of the value of that contract from every contract.
Okay, so
now, excuse me. Now, this youth are to negotiate with the company by themselves. One government negotiating by themselves. How many persons to be employed? What amount you're going to pay the people? But in this case, the company has come to deliberately enslave the people. That is I said, it's a synergy between the perceived synergy between the government and the construction giant, because they have refused to pay this youth well. The youth will be spokesman. All the money they get is so.
Okay, fantastic. Ambassador Superman Bajakrisha, I just wanted to stay with us then. And we quite appreciate what you're saying. But again, a lot of people are applauding the construction company for the work they've done, particularly in the area of the flyovers and also the internal road. But what you are saying is that you would have loved a situation whereby the companies... Yes.
Shegu, I am shocked that after how many years you've been in River State, you're talking about flyovers. People are applauding the government for flyover. What impact is the flyover to the common riversman?
Well, again, that is a very subjective one, because a lot of people would tell you that this is good for River State.
You're talking about flyovers of 7, 8, 10 billion naira. Each flyover, and then a state government came up one day, and because they want to turn the state into a flyover town, and answer flyover governor, and they answer POS Africa and all that. They want to answer flyover governor in addition. And now somebody came out from nowhere to begin to build flyover indiscriminately.
Actually, if you allow me, Ambassador Superman Bajakrish, if you allow me, the question I was about to ask you is, what would you do differently? What would you do differently? You are contesting to be the governor of River State. It's not enough to cast aspersions and criticize. What would you do differently? So if you were the governor, what would you do differently?
Yes, I will look at critical areas to address. What are the critical areas to address? First, because we have to look at the root cause. We have to look at the root cause of all this. Now, we in my 5-point agenda, I talked about industrialization. I talked about urbanization. Now, I talked about even mechanized agriculture.
So what do you mean by urbanization? What would you do differently in the area of urbanization?
Yeah, now, what I meant by urbanization is first, I said I will address what you call rural urbanization and urban renewal. Now, by that I mean, River State right now, let's say Wike has come to pin flyovers or bridges across River State of Port Harcourt. But now I will come with not just coming to bring flyover, but coming to see how fast I will create an enabling environment for the citizens to stay. For example, we have Rainbow Town, somewhere around Amadi. I am looking at creating new cities in the state, because River State is too big to be a one city state. Now, looking at, we are forgetting the area of Oyibo and Eche local government areas. Those areas have vast land. See, now we can cite, a workable, some kind of industries or whatever that we open this kind of opportunity in that place. For example.
Right. Fantastic. Ambassador Superman Bajakrish, I would like to take some calls but you have told us that you would want to open new cities. And my next question will be, how do you intend to do this? And how do you intend to source the funds to do this should you become the governor of River State? Okay, simple thing. Maybe you'll just do that in 2 minutes so we can allow calls to come in. Yes. So how would you do that? Yes.
First, opening a new city. First, I'll look at the state secretary rather of the civil servant. And then, in that secretariat, you have all the what they call, the ministries in that secretariat. Now, I can look at it and say, okay, let me go to let me bring the Ministry of Agriculture to Eche Agnes, and then we will now establish the Ministry of Agriculture in Eche Agnes from the ministry that is in the podium block together in that state secretariat. By that way, when you establish that Ministry of Agriculture, of course, agriculture is very broad. It's a big industry. When you establish the Ministry of Agriculture in that area, that will now begin to attract people down to that place who wants to do something concerning agri. They will have a reason to go to Eche. They will have a reason to visit Eche. Even the staff will have a reason to go back to Eche and stay in a period of time.
Yeah, now, fantastic.
Again, secondly, because as I say, we have to decentralize these powers. We cannot put them together in one block, and then the place is not even conducive for them. We will now look at again. Let's even say, okay, when I say rural urbanization and rural urbanization, I said I will do what they call infrastructural upgrade. We will now look at those infrastructures that have been abandoned, like I made mention of.
Okay, so Ambassador Subema Bajakri, I just wanted to hold on the debate. I just wanted to stay with us because I will go back to the telephone line. Now, fantastic, you've told us how you intend to build new cities, but you did not tell us how you intend to get the funding. Maybe we'll come to that. So quickly, I'll just take some calls. If you're listening to us, you're joining us. This is Super 93.3 FM Port Harcourt, and you're listening to Point Blank. And this morning, I'm speaking to the governorship candidate of the National Rescue Movement, Ambassador Subema Bajakri. Unfortunately, due to unforeseen incident, he cannot make it to the studio this morning, but he's joining us via telephone, and we're looking at his policies, 91 days to the governorship election university, and he has talked about his urban renewal policy. For him, it would open up new cities if given the opportunity to govern River State in the 2023 election. So, do you think this is a feasible plan? Would this be what you want to see in River State in 2023? Now, you can join the conversation right now. The number to call 070-5079-1021 and 081-174-31021. We'll just take 3 calls and we'll come back talking more to Ambassador Subema Bajakri. Good morning. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, and go ahead and ask your question.
Good morning, Pastor Shigo Olabi.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Royal Chief Ambassador Magnus Leson Edo. I'm calling you from Kwawa Community in Kana Local Government.
So what's your question, and do you agree with the urban renewal policy of Ambassador Subema Bajakri?
Yes, I have 2 questions for him. I want to ask him, in the traditional institution as we speak now, it is only government-recognized traditional rulers that have stipends that benefit from the federal and state government. If he emerges as the governor of River State, can he be an inclusive administration that all paramount rulers will be getting stipends from him? And how is he planning to go about it? My number 2 questions. We are having issues on the land dispute and all that. How can he create a ministry that will handle this problem of land dispute, urbanization that he's talking about? How can he handle the issues of landowners?
All right, fantastic. Those are good questions. So we'll take another one. Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining us. This is Super FM Point Blank.
Good morning, Chego.
What's your name and where you calling from? Good morning.
Alabama Bajakri. Good morning. My name is Chief Comrade I am Braid, calling you from Port Harcourt.
Fantastic, sir. So your question, sir.
Yes, my first question is this. If the opportunity is being given to Alabama Subema Bajakri, what would he do about aquaculture? That is number 1. Number 2, what would he do concerning infrastructure? When I talk about infrastructure, how is he going to bring in SME to the common man? Not just come and say on the radio as the current governor, we are saying that his budget will be at the public domain and our budget has become a secret court document. I think my take to him, let him give us explanation how he's going to go about it and how he's going to fund it and how he's going to create jobs to teeming youth of River State. Thank you, and God bless you.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll take one more before we allow Alabosubo Mabo-Jakris to answer the question. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Shegu.
Thank you so much. What's your name and where you're calling, and your question, please?
My name is Nsima Ben. I'm calling from Igorita.
Fantastic.
Shegu, though I have listened to your guest, although I'm still trying to understand him because when you ask him questions, he is not answering those questions directly. But my question is, or let me just contribute before my question. He said that the bridges or the flyovers Wike is building, for now that those flyovers and all that are not important in River State. But he said if he becomes the governor of River State, that now that Wike has built bridges, that he will now go to the rural areas. That means he has, first of all, he has now admitted that if he comes to be governor, that Wike has taken care of bridges, that he will now go to rural areas to develop the rural area. That's what he calls the urbanization, to open those rural areas for dwellers to go in there and live. Now, in the area of telling us how the food prices are, he talked about rice. I don't know how Wike is connected to rice. He talked about closing of event centers. And these event centers, you remember, it does not mean because the governor has declared executive order 21 and 22. If you want to campaign, that is simple. He even said it that even the PDP members should as well respect the executive order 21 and 22. That does not mean if someone has an event center should be turned to a campaign ground where people will go. You know how much crowd the campaign carries. And for the governor to go and seal up an event center, you are using that now to campaign, that the governor has sealed up an event center. And we know the tradition of the Ikweres here is to block the road when they are doing traditional wedding or whatever. It crosses across all political parties. It does not matter whether you are APC, PDP, or what party. Whenever you have an event to do, they close the road. It is a tradition. So this has to do with campaign. And the governor declared that order and says, if you want to campaign, do this and do that. Why are you bringing in such issue in an event center that we know? I passed that day and I saw that one. It was a mess up. They messed up the whole city. They messed up the whole place that we passerbys, even people that were trekking, could not pass there. It was difficult for us to even pass.
All right, let us just leave it at that. I'm sorry, sir. Let us just leave it at that because I would want Alabosubo Mabo-Jakris to answer all of the question, and we still have Ambassador Subo Mabo-Jakris still with us online. And we must thank you sincerely for staying with us on telephone, the governorship candidate of National Rescue Movement. But again, 3 questions for you there. And again, maybe you want to respond to that, starting with a gentleman that is asking that what role would traditional rulers play if you become the governor of River State? What responsibility would you give to them?
Shegu, first, traditional institution is very, very important in our society. Now, first, that question he asked about how to give the traditional rulers monthly stipends is what has made the present administration to have turned the traditional council into now. We know that we are going to create an environment where every traditional ruler, it could be a chief or a king, a custodian of his own kingdom, that traditional council will be recognized. What is due them, what is due the community, they will access it without challenges. We will not even look at who is the first class, second class, or even third class. We are looking at how to bring a lasting peace amongst the people living within that kingdom, and so by extension, the state. And so most of the traditional council, the territory chiefs, everyone that is involved will see transparency in such a way that they can even access the fund by themselves. Not to give them stipends in a way of inducing them to begin to do things that are not right. Today, as I speak to you, the traditional council institution is becoming a political institution, whereby you can see a king going out to Abuja to campaign, or you can see people that are respected ordinarily. These are some of the things we are going to address. We are going to make sure that every institution is recognized and what is due them gets to them, not by way of inducing them. Now, secondly, What is the second question? Sorry.
Now, again, one of the callers also asking you that what will be your policy for youth? You yourself, you're youthful in your age and nature. So again, what is the thing you're considering for young people in River State?
Now, the young people are the leaders of tomorrow. And that is why today I have been able to take up, the bold step to say, I am giving myself to River people to serve them. Now, if it is true, first, we are going to see how these young people will be skillful, making sure that we make almost every one of them, get involved in a particular trade or a particular...
Ambassador Subemaba Jakrish, if I may come in here, because I know time is not on our side, but again, you have said you want to make young people to be skillful. I need to know the how. What do you mean by making young people skillful? I also read your story, My Waterside Story, and I read that publication you made, how the waterside, maybe we would shift that for another discussion, but tell me the how. How are you going to make young people skillful?
Yes. Now, I will first of all make sure that I give them good educational pattern.
And what do you consider to be good education? What do you consider to be good education?
I will introduce what I call technical education in our secondary school curriculum. In the secondary school curriculum, to teach the children technically, you understand, and to prepare them, the youth, skillfully to grow in life immediately after secondary school educational, program. Now, why I said so is, and as I said, we are going to see how we can, introduce skills acquisition for youth to be self-reliant. Now, and then when this is done, when this in the enabling environment for, these things are done, you will see that most of the youth will be self-reliance. They will be busy because the idle mind is devil's workshop. Once a student, comes out from school and is already a professional in his field, it will not be difficult for him to accept job, because already he is a professional. And then when the government are also ready to integrate those youth, those young scholars who have come out from, who graduated into leadership, you will see that, because that's why we said we are going to industrialize River State. We are going to industrialize River State. Then we are going to partner with private sectors where funds can be accessed to industrialize this state. Okay. You see how we can build industries today. River State doesn't have any establishment that provides money. Even the aquatic land they is talking about. This is their government that just finished destroying the Agay farm and the Bugma fish farm and the rest of them. These are some of the things that we have to help and revive, invest in it, and then bring it, to function. Where youth will be employed. Because some earlier on were employed over 300 to 400 persons. And if it is true, when we have over 3 to 4, 5 of them, you will see that already majority of the youth are employed. And it can also make them, we are also going to...
Ambassador Subemaba Jakrish, I beg your pardon, Ambassador Subemaba Jakrish. It's been wonderful talking to you, and I love for us to continue the discussion, though it is difficult because you're on telephone. But again, this is one commitment I want to extract from you, because a lot of questions we have on the social media, and there are a lot of other issues I wish you would explain. But I want you to tell us, maybe when you've resolved your present issue, you would find time to come to studio so that we can have a more robust discussion. So again, would you assure us that you will come to the studio to have a better time to talk to us?
We'll look at time. We'll look at, we'll create an avenue for that. Like today, I told you it's not deliberate.
Yes, of course.
I said, I want us to talk about some sensitive things.
Well, again,
like
time,
and
that is the reason why.
That is supposed to be in the, in the lip of everyone.
Ambassador Subemaba Jakrish, I also...
have refused to implement the 13% derivation in such a way that there will be no problem.
Okay, fantastic. Ambassador Subemaba Jakrish. Ambassador Suboma Bajakrish, I know that you are one of the freedom fighters for the Niger Delta region, and I know what a 13% derivation would mean for someone like you, and that is the reason why I feel that we need to have another session, and then you'll be in the studio so that we can have all of this discussion. Again, we must thank you sincerely, Ambassador Suboma Bajakrish.
You're welcome.
Despite your tight schedule, you could still have time to speak to us on telephone. Thank you so much indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.